Well, hey, it's Pastor Corey over here at Morristown Methodist Church. I hope you are having a great Wednesday. Hey, I want to bring you here in a minute a recap of our Lenten Bible study as we're on week 4, preparing for the cross. We've talked about the call to repentance, the power of prayer, and the practice of fasting, and we have just finished up the preparing for the cross study today. And I want to recap it. Before we do, I want to remind you that this Sunday, we'd love to see you, your friend, your neighbor, your loved one here at Morristown Methodist Church, 9:30 for coffee and donuts, and 10:30 for our worship experience. And hey, if you are a grandparent, a parent, and you come here, I want to remind you that we have some of that Easter grass that's sitting up at the front as you walk into, and leave. You can take that with you if you like it. And if you are to bring candy, we'd ask you to bring it this Sunday and bring a bag of candy. There's a black tub out in the fellowship area, the foyer, as you're walking in and out of the sanctuary, where you can drop your candy. And next Wednesday after Bible study, if you're available to come and help stuff the eggs after Bible study on next Wednesday, not this Wednesday. So next Wednesday, we will gather and we will put those together. But again, then this next Sunday evening at Mount Lebanon Community Church, right off of 9 as you're heading into Greenfield, I will be sharing the word for that Lenten service that takes place there. But again, I want to continue inviting you, your friends, your loved ones, and those to come and connect and be a part of our connection as we gather and grow in this place, as we work to seek after God's anointing presence in our life. That's where we're at today, and that's what we're looking at. But we've walked this week, and we've walked together with our people here in the preparing for the cross. And as we prepare for the cross, what does it look like? And again, the study is available on our Facebook. You can get there. Our emails, it typically is out on and or our website. You can go to it. You can go to morristownmethodist.org, and there should be a tab that says Lenten, and it's information on 40 days of prayer, to our series, to, again, this little flyer about where we will be and what we're doing. That's there. That's available. And then obviously the Bible study that I was sharing, the PDF is available for you if you want to just, again, go along and do your own study. You are more than welcome to do that. But that's just I want a reminder that that's what we have. And as we're gathering, and so we've begun this conversation today. We talked about preparing for the cross. In this study, we focused on the themes of self-denial, sacrifice, and following Jesus. We began with, obviously what I like to do all the time is prayer. And honestly, as we ask, and maybe you, if you're thinking about going through this, ask God for guidance in understanding the cost of discipleship, and for an open heart to receive, what you're learning, or even receive of the message. Because Jesus made it clear to the disciples requires or more than just belief. Like, the requirement is just not just belief. It demands total surrender. And we look at the key scriptures, Mark 8:31 through 38, and John 12:23 through 26. And in Mark 8:31 through 38, it says, "Then Jesus began to tell them, the Son of Man must suffer many terrible things and be rejected by the elders and the lead priests and the teachers of religious law. He would be killed, but 3 days later he would rise from the dead." As he talked about this openly with his disciples, Peter took him aside and began to reprimand him for saying such thing. Jesus turned around and looked at his disciples, then reprimanded Peter. "Get away from me, Satan," he said. "You are seeing things merely from a human point of view, not from God's." Then, calling the crowd to join his disciples, he said, "If any of you want to be my follower, you must give up your own ways. Take up the cross and follow me." follow me. If you try to hang on to your life, you will lose it. But if you give up your life for my sake and for the sake of God, good news, you will save it. And what do you benefit if you gain the whole world but lose your own soul? Is anything worthy or worth more than your soul? If anyone is ashamed of me and my message in these adulterous and sinful days, the Son of Man will be ashamed of the person when he returns in the glorious of his Father and with the angels, the holy angels. And then John 12:23-26 says, Jesus replied, now the time has come for the Son of Man to enter into his glory. I will tell you the truth. Unless a kernel of wheat is planted in the soil and dies, it remains alone. But its death will produce many new kernels, a plentiful harvest of new life. Those who love their life in this world will lose it. Those who care nothing for their life in this world will keep it for eternity. Anyone who wants to serve me must follow me, because my servants must be where I am, and the Father will honor anyone who serves me. That is our two scriptures, and I think of that, and let me say, I think both these highlight Jesus' prediction of his suffering, death, and resurrection. I mean, he openly shares the reality of his mission. But Peter, thinking from a human perspective, rebukes him. Jesus responds in striking. You are seeing things merely from a human perspective view, not from God's. You're seeing it from a human, not from God's. This teaches us that we must align our visions with God's, embrace his will, even when it leads to difficult or suffering. Take up your cross means more than enduring hardship. It means a daily commitment to die to ourselves and live for Christ. In Jesus' time, the cross was a tool of execution. It was a tool of execution, signifying, complete surrender. Like surrender, we're completely surrendering. Complete. He calls us, his followers, to willingly embrace this level of devotion. When he says, if you try to hang on to your life, you will lose it. But if you willingly embrace this level, you will, or you give up it, you willingly give it up for my sake, for the sake of good news, you will save it. He is reminding us that giving up your life for the mere sake and for the sake of the good news, he's reminding us the fulfillment is found in letting go of our own plans and trusting God's purpose. Jesus further illustrates that, we know here in John 12, but in the 24th verse, using the image of a grain of wheat that must die in order to produce a harvest. The wheat dies, the grain dies to produce a harvest. Just as a seed only fulfills its purpose through surrender, our lives will bear lasting fruit when we fully submit to God's will. I think it's a powerful example of this principle is the life of a missionary, or Jim Elliot, who gave his life for the sake of the gospel, saying, he is no fool who gives what he cannot keep to gain what he cannot lose. Let me say that again. Jim Elliot said, he is no fool who gives what he cannot keep to gain what he cannot lose. I mean, this challenges us to examine our own lives. Are we willing? Are you willing? Are we willing to give up our personal ambitions, comfort, and control for the sake of following Christ? Maybe to reflect on this teaching as we consider what taking up your cross looks like in your daily life. What does taking up your cross mean? How does discipleship shape your decisions, priorities, and interactions? How does that discipleship? What obstacles keep you from fully surrendering to God? Is it fear, materialism, or a desire for control? I don't know what you're dealing with or what it is. What is it? Ask yourself. As you discuss in your own self, and as you think to yourself, and think of ways to actively practice self-denial. Think of ways as you're thinking of this and discussing with maybe your spouse or within your journal or where you're at, or share your faith boldly despite discomfort. I think what we have to do is we have to, within the prayer time, maybe a simple prayer is just thanking God for Jesus' examples of ultimate sacrifice. And maybe within that, we have to ask ourselves for strength to embrace self-denial and follow fully him. And maybe in that time frame, maybe, when you're praying and you're looking at, maybe you just need to take a moment and just pause. I know me, I have to do so because I know my mind races. So the moment I can just pause, I can take that deep breath, which means I'm inviting God in. And maybe at the moment I can specifically surrender something to God, say, and trust that letting go, you'll find true life in him. Maybe that's what it has to be. But again, we're preparing as we're getting closer to Resurrection Sunday, Easter Sunday, to reflect, pray. Again, be in preparation for what is to come or what God has in store for you in your life. So I would like to invite you, again, if you're able, to come out this Sunday morning, 9:30 coffee and donut, 10:30 worship, and then 6:30 at Mount Lebanon Community Church, just off of 9 as you're heading into Greenfield from Morristown way. Obviously, if you're coming from Greenfield, it'll be on your. If you're coming from Morristown, it'll be on your right, and there's a cemetery. If you're coming from Greenfield, it'll be on your left, and you'll see the cemetery between where it's at. But again, we'd love to see you, your friends, your neighbors, your loved ones, to connect. And again, we'd love to see you worship with us as we are called to connect our community to Jesus. Hey, may your Wednesday be blessed.